Mass rallies, placards and slogans. Georgians are defending the sovereignty of their country.
Russia
is an occupier. Russia is occupying, and we're not going to put up with this. This is something that everyone must realize. Russia is an occupier.
Protesters first took to the streets on June 20th, when during the Interparliamentary Assembly on Orthodoxy, Russian MP Sergei Gavrilov was seated in a chair reserved for the head of the Georgian parliament. Gavrilov is a member of Russia's Communist Party and is known to be a supporter of Russia's 2008 invasion of Georgia and the occupation of its territories.
No official delegation from Russia can come here. They can come to Georgia and sit at a table with Georgians to say, we've understood everything. If anyone needs it, we apologize. Let's discuss the occupation of your territory and how we will withdraw 60 Russian military bases from here. But I don't think this topic was raised at the Interparliamentary Assembly on Orthodoxy.
Georgians were outraged. Thousands of people gathered for a rally and were dispersed by law enforcement officers.
Protesters are dispersed in many countries, but the point is how it happens and what protests are dispersed. That was an anti-occupation patriotic rally. What happened was unacceptable. It was basically a punitive mission. People were shot directly in the faces. There are rules for using weapons with rubber bullets. They should be shot downwards and they should rebound.
The protesters also accused security forces of straying from standard procedure. They say special forces were supposed to stay inside the parliament building and only use force if the crowd attempted to break in. Instead, they were on the street shooting at protesters. 240 people were injured. Some of them were blinded. Activists are now demanding the resignation of the interior minister.
It was done under orders from the Kremlin. They were outraged by Georgians rising up against them like this and said, go and punish them. That's exactly how it went. I'm positive.
From then on, protesters began rallying by the parliament building on a daily basis.
Protesting the fact that Russia has occupied our lands. 20% of my country is occupied by Russia, and we are against Russian propaganda in Georgia. That's why we stand here to let our government know that we will never accept Russian influence in Georgia.
Activists are doing their best to approach the daily protest creatively in order to avoid it turning into a routine.
Russia itself is now suffering from the post-communist regime of Putin, the KGB guy. Dear Russians, I first and foremost call on Russians, get rid of Lenin, get rid of the communists. It's long overdue. Get rid of them. Get rid of all this for your own sake and for the sake of the whole world. We don't want it to be a typical static rally. We're looking for different forms, and the changing situation prompts us how and what should be done.
One night, the protest turned into a musical spectacle when world-renowned singer Anita Rachvelishvili sang at the rally. And she wasn't the only one. Georgian artists, poets, and other public figures came to support the protest, pitting culture against the brute force of their northern neighbor. Reported by Lyubov Zadorozhna in Georgia for UATV.